English 10A, the color of water writing prompts. Directions. You must choose at least 5 prompts to respond to for this assignment. There are a total of 18, so choose 5 that connect to you. For example, if you've never lost someone close to you, then don't do Chapter 7, Sam. Choose those that connect to you. Each response should be a minimum of 1/2 page double-spaced. Each response is worth 4 points. It will be graded on development of ideas and detail of the response. These responses will not only help you understand the author and his mother, but also help you learn more about yourself, what your own values are, and how those influence who you are as a person. Sample. Chapter 10, School. McBride grew up in the 60s when America was going through many changes. These changes had an impact on him and his family. What issues are going on in America today have influenced you? How has it impacted you and your family? How has it changed you? When I look at hot topics in the news, one that comes to mind that has had an impact on me is the environment. For me, it isn't just about recycling and putting energy-saving light bulbs in all of my lamps. It was about the land and how it is being used and the impact farming has on animals. I read too many articles on the treatment of animals on farms and in the slaughterhouses. This made me think about my own eating habits, and I decided to make a change. Several years ago, I decided to become a vegetarian, but he eats meatless meals several times a week. One of his favorites is veggie lasagna full of zucchini, squash, and spinach. He doesn't share my views on saving the animals, but he does see the health benefits of not eating meat every day. When it comes to my parents, they never influenced my choice to become a vegetarian. Neither of them would ever give up eating meat, and I don't talk to them about my choice. I think they may even see it as a strange choice, and when we go to eat, they don't seem concerned about making sure there is a vegetarian option on the menu for me. I don't expect them to accommodate my needs, but I do expect them to respect my choice. For me, it is about a life choice that I am happy I made for myself. My commitment to the environment is also a way to keep the animals safe. Don't get me wrong. There are times that it is tempting to taste a piece of bacon or bit into a juicy hamburger, but I feel healthier and I remind myself of that every day. Prompts. Chapter 2, The Bicycle. The author seems to be embarrassed by his mother riding the big blue bicycle everywhere. Have you ever been embarrassed by the actions of one of your own family members? Why were you embarrassed? Did their actions go against your own beliefs? How are your values influenced by their actions? Chapter 3, Kosher. After reading about being kosher and the cultural beliefs behind it, think about your own family traditions. What traditions or rituals does your family have in practice? How does this fit with your own values? Chapter 4, Black Power. What was happening in the history in 1966? What were some historical events at this time? How did this influence some of McBride's family members? How did their beliefs differ from his mother? Have you had an experience of change in your own family where beliefs were different? How did you deal with it, and how did it change you? Chapter 5, The Old Testament. His mother's life was changed by her experiences. The beliefs she had as a child changed as an adult. What beliefs/values do you have in common with your family? Explain why. What beliefs/values do you have that are different from your family? Explain why. Chapter 7, Sam. His mother references some facts in history and the loss of her older brother in World War I. How did this affect her and change her life? What loss have you had in your life that changed who you are today? Did it change your values/beliefs? Why or why not? Chapter 8, Brothers and Sisters. Helen leaves after fighting with Rosetta. She has changed her beliefs, which are now different from the family. What is your relationship with your siblings? Do your views ever differ from theirs? Give an example and explain what happened. How do you resolve differences with your siblings? Chapter 10, School. McBride grew up in the 60s when America was going through many changes. These changes had an impact on him and his family. What issues are going on in America today have influenced you? How has it impacted you and your family? How has it changed you? Chapter 12, Daddy. Losing his stepfather to a stroke was difficult for McBride, but death is a part of life. Have you ever lost a family member? What happens? What effect did it have on you? Did it change your family in any way? Explain. Chapter 13, New York. The last line in the chapter is from his mother when she says, "If you throw water on the floor, it will always find a hole. Believe me." What does it mean to the context of the memoir and her life? How can you apply this to your own experiences? Chapter 14, Chicken Man. As McBride fails in school and is sent to live with his sister in the summer, what changes for him? What moment starts to define this change? Have you ever failed at something? What was it? What did you learn from it? How did your own beliefs/values affect how you dealt with failure? Chapter 15, Graduation. McBride's mother didn't attend her own graduation ceremony because it was in a Protestant church. Her beliefs were stronger as a Jew than she thought. When have your own beliefs stop you from going along with the crowd? How did you feel afterward? What were the results of your decision? How did it affect those involved? Chapter 16, Driving. He seems to be stuck in two worlds in this chapter: success or drugs. What is happening? Why? What is he avoiding? Have you ever avoided something in your own life? Why? What happened when you did? Chapter 18, Lost in Delaware. What did moving to Delaware do to McBride? Have you ever had a change like this in your own life? How did it affect you? Why? Chapter 19, The Promise. McBride's mother goes home to take care of her mother. Even though her relationships with her family are strained, her family values draw her back home to help her mother. Think about your own family ties. What would you be willing to do for a family member? Why? What values do you hold that ties to your own family? Chapter 20, Old Man Shilsky. Shilsky? McBride drives to Suffolk to find out about his family history. He learns about his grandfather, that he didn't like African Americans. He also takes the time to connect his mother with an old neighbor. He's beginning to put down his own identity together through his family. How does your family influence who you are? What part of your identity comes from your family? Why? Chapter 21, A Bird Who Flies. Ruth was the bird who flew. Why do you think would have happened to her if she had stayed in Suffolk? Why? How do you show independence? How is it earned in your family? What makes you ready to fly? Chapter 22, A Jew Discovered. McBride visits Suffolk and feels the loneliness, but also realizes his grandmother didn't suffer and die for nothing. She's the only reason he is here today. He realizes, my own humanity has awakened, rising up to greet me with a handshake as I watched the first glimmers of sunlight peek over the horizon. What is he thankful for, and what does he realize about himself? What do you need to thank your own family for? Why? Chapter 23, Dennis. This chapter describes her life with her first husband, Dennis. She seemed happiest living in a one-room apartment with her husband and 4 kids. What does it take to make you happy? What values play into this? Why? Copyright 2017 Michigan Virtual, revised 6/12/2019. Page 4.